Hello, Seiji here. I'll be talking about the upcoming Fiend Hunt, which is happening in 11 days. So the Fiend Hunt name is E.O.N. Just based off of looking at the pattern, we can technically use Zenith to skip, and then you can follow up by a Cryax. Or if you're going the Magic Rail, I'm pretty sure you're gonna probably use Celia Chain with Eclipse as a battery backup. So Eclipse base, it's pretty much a skip, so it will hit like the whole X, which is basically the whole weakness. While the new Eclipse skin, you can pretty much hit the left or right target, which hit around at least three of the weak points. Going into like the boss mechanics itself, it's pretty standard with how the was it turn two the boss would do an AoE, and it looks like the boss is going to be doing magic damage. Turn I'm pretty sure this is turn four. The boss is probably gonna be doing a fixed pattern. So basically on the left tile, and pretty sure you based on this pattern, you can safely use like at least one unit to distract the boss pattern and have like four units on the right side to be safe. And because of how you notice right here where it says it'll decrease magic resist for 50% for 6 turn, meaning that the unit that's going to be distracting from the left side probably might have to have at least 140 magic res, or at least like a shield or barrier to keep them alive. Moving forward, it in turn 6 the boss will do the same amount. It will do the same thing, but instead from the left side, we'll have from the right side. So the unit that has the 140 magic resist will become 90 res. Can basically just tank this boss again. But I assume you probably want like attack, like a magic attack down to debuff the boss, or at least a shield to keep them alive. I'm assuming that the new Diana will probably be in use for this one as well. And then turn 8, the boss just does a fixed pattern on like a target in the middle lane. So I'm pretty sure it's safe to assume you just put one character that can tank there with 90 M res, and all the rest will be like on the side to be safe. And then turn 10, the boss will wipe. So for the gear crafting, how am I preparing for it would be if you didn't progress in your gear crafting, since depending on your team, you'll probably have the silver arm as the glove of which gives the double attack gloves, or you have the magic glove, which is the shackle treachery, which gives 2 lines magic attack. And for your weapon, you'll probably want a crit damage attack if you're using a physical, while your magical team will probably be using the Traveler's God's Friend, which is the magic version with the crit damage. And your necklace will probably most likely on your DPS, it would be your 2 line venomous touch. For units you're using like Eclipse and Celia, depending on how you're using them. If your Eclipse is your DPS, you probably want the venomous touch on it. If either your Eclipse or your Celia is the tank, in this case, I think Celia would probably be the one with the 140 Embres. You would probably want to use her EX so she can have at least HP on it. Or if you don't have like a HP line on your exclusive weapon for Celia, you can probably use any of the HP items. So in this case, I would probably use the Charming Glaze for the HP percent, or you can just use any of the even the what's it crit and HP percent necklace as well. And for the most important part, since the boss does magic damage, you want like double line magic res on your armor. So in this case, the Fiend Guard, ideally you want all your units to at least have this gear, whether it's going to be tier 1, 2, or 3 and 4. And for the helmet, you probably want again double magic res, so which is the radiant wisdom, and pretty much at least tier 2 and up if possible. Try to craft, try to spread out your crafting for the armor. I think the armor will probably be the most important part on surviving this. If you get at least 90 MRes on most of your units and at least 140 on the main unit, that's gonna be tanking the 2 turns, or at least the 3rd hit as well on turn 8, then you can probably survive the whole boss fight. This is just like a repercussion in case if you don't pull the new Diana. I'll switch screen. We can go over to see. So for the new Diana, in this case, we have the anti-dystopian Diana. It's gonna be casting Energy Guard, and each plus, ideally you want at least +3, or ideally you want at least +1 for the SP cost down, and then +4 for the cooldown, so that you can rotate the shield a lot quicker. I'm probably gonna try to aim for a +5 or at least +4, depending on my pull luck again. Since Diana's probably gonna have like an off turn where you can cast the shield to protect yourself, and the fact that you have to worry about her base skill being that it's a 9-turn cooldown, so you probably want to use it at least turn 3 to get the full effect. Otherwise, you're gonna lose the buff around like turn 9, and you probably wouldn't get the Diana buff at all. So now just a recap. If you didn't get what I said about the E.O.N boss mechanic or how to avoid it, I'll put a link down to the description to Kane's guide. I kind of highly recommend it as well. He will talk on the key points of the boss. He'll give the boss pattern and explanation on what you should do, and he listed the analysis on the right so you can read as well. He also gives a team building explanation, and the main unit you probably want to use is definitely Diana, because this is an elemental advantage unit, which is basically used for all the contents regarding if the boss has any elemental disadvantage that you're using. And your second for your chain stack is probably going to be between Celia and Leatrice, but in my case, I would probably recommend Celia. If you have the new Celia, you can use the base Celia that gives 7 chain, and the young Celia that has the 5 chain as well. And the young Celia is probably going to be the one that you want to prioritize to use for like the magic attack down to reduce the boss, since after all, this boss is going to be doing magic attack. There's nowhere in the description here that the boss is not going to do anything but magic attack. And your SP battery, in this case, Eclipse, because of the new costume. On top of that, her old costume as well, which is her base costume, gives SP as well. And for the like substitution with probably Lucretia, she can give SP as well. And in this case, if depending on your team, you'll have a secondary buffer. It's between Helena, Lethal, or Ernest. In this case, if you're using a magic team, definitely Helena would be the recommendation, all because of the magic attack and the crit rate up. And if you're using the physical team, it's between Lethal or Ernest. My guess is probably gonna be Ernest, and then you have Lethal in as well, or you go crit fishing and you take Lethal instead. And for your dark DPS, you have only like a few options between Sammy, Rue, Elenir, and Cry. The only issue about Cry is if you have Cry, you need Zenith. And for Elenir, going back to the boss pattern, for Elenir, you can technically hit all 3 of the weak points, which is the front here. And for Rue would be the same as well, because we have the half anniversary Rue, and it's gonna be like our +5, so it's gonna be free for most players to use. So highly recommend using her as well. And Sammy is the same pattern as Elenir. On top of that, she has a schoolgirl costume that can give buffs as well. She is more of like a magic unit that you want to probably use. So in my case, between these three, I would probably choose between Rue or Elanir. Maybe I'll try Sammy as well. Cry, I'm pretty sure I'm not using him. Because if I use Cry, I need to have Zenith in this case. So, yeah. Let's see. So the most important note to take on this is that turn 4 right here. The magic resist by 50%. You need to be careful on this. This is probably gonna kill at least one of your unit if you don't have 140 MRes or you don't have the new Diana to protect yourself. So I know that my explanation may be weird, but usually I don't do these type of guides since I'm usually the one that probably tests the comps on day one rather than reading the boss mechanics. But since people asked about it, I want to just introduce and then just teach you guys on how to was it view the boss mechanic ahead of time to understand how the procedure. So for me personally, for my team comp, obviously Diana would be the choice. In this case, I'm probably gonna try the magic team first, so I'll have Eclipse. Since I have Eclipse, I probably want Celia as well, since I have the new Celia. And then my fourth character is gonna be Helena, since you want a secondary buffer. So you don't want to crit fish too much, so that's why I want to go with 80% crit rate. It sucks that we can't use Nartis in here because of the boss being magical. And Nartis, he's really strong, but the only issue is his condition, where it requires the enemy to have physical property. And in this case, if you look at back at E.O.N right here, he has magical property. He has magic attack only. So Nartis second condition cannot meet. So it means that I'm deciding between Rue or Elanir in this case. The reason why Rue, I'm pretty sure on the fifth slot, not only her base costume, her half anniversary costume is very good. She gives herself self crit rate. The multipliers is fine, but her Red Riding Hood Rue that I have, it's another additional energy guard I can cast as well to keep myself protected. But my only issue is I don't know how I'm gonna build Rue because of how like her gloves is crit rate. So I'm gonna have heavy crit rate on her. I don't know on her attack as well. I probably need to test it out once Fiend Hunt goes live. For Elanir, I think Elanir has both her caution can hit at least 2 out of 3 of the weak points. Her idol can definitely hit at least uh, 3 of the weak points, and then her base can at least hit 2. Other than that, yeah, that's about it. So thank you for watching. If you have any questions, feel free to join the Discord or chat in the comments, and I will answer it. And remember to do your evil castle for the Tower of Pride, since we're gonna have a reset soon. So you want to maximize your gain on the 90 ancient crystals so you can start crafting your gear. Thank you.